Hey guys, it's Scarlett. Today we are back with another speed build. This is going to be a renovation of South Square Coffee in Windenburg. So I wanted this to be a board game cafe, and I also wanted to have a little more space because I feel like the current size of it was too small to fit everything that I wanted to put in here. And I also just wanted to give it a little refresh. Get Together has been out for probably almost maybe 8 years or something like that. So I definitely think it would be nice to go back in with a lot of the new items we have and just give it a refresh. So I end up using the entire first floor for the board games. And then I also add a second floor where I moved the avant-garde space and had some more usable gaming space as well. So right now I'm just taking out all of the different objects that were in the building before and trying to have a clean canvas to work with. I knew I didn't want to change the shape of the building too much, so it ends up being pretty similar on the outside in terms of the sizing and the wallpaper and everything. I don't think I even changed the wallpaper too much. And one of the first things I needed to go in and fix was that lighting issue upstairs. I was trying to figure out for the longest time what caused it, and I wasn't sure till I realized that it's that roof right there that you can see me moving back and forth. So to fix that, I moved the roof back by one tile so that it wasn't touching the wall, and then I just extended I'm not sure if you would call that the eave or what you would call that, but I extended that part, just the one side of it, so that it would look like it was connected without ruining the lighting. But I could not figure out why that was happening. I tried redrawing the room and everything, and I just could not get it figured out for a while. But now you can see we're going in and adding some bathrooms. These end up being pretty much the same by the end, but I did choose to do something different with the space in front of it. You'll see me make it bigger in a bit, and that becomes an area where I put all of the Don't Wake the Llama tables. I also kept the actual cafe section pretty much the same in terms of where it is. I just wanted to make it look a little bit better and have a complete wraparound counter and add a cash register and some stuff like that. And then I also added a little staff area where they could put their supplies. So you can see me putting the door there for that. It was actually hard to figure out the layout for this building because there were only so many places I could put the stairs, and I didn't want to block the windows because on three sides of this room there's big windows and doors, so I couldn't just put the stairs anywhere, and I didn't want to just kind of have them in the middle of the room. So I decided the best spot to put them would be behind where the actual cafe counter is. It was also tricky to figure out the placement of the counters because while that cafe table, the one that's actually functional, while it matches the cabinets that we have in the base game, it doesn't necessarily line up perfectly tile-wise. So I did a lot of rearranging to try and find the best spot to put it, and eventually I got it figured out, but it was a bit confusing for sure. I did end up using quite a bit of packs with this one, unfortunately. I did mainly use Get to Work and Get Together. I also used some base game, but there are definitely a couple of other packs thrown in there, and it wasn't necessarily intentional. As I was going through the build at the end, I realized that I had used a Get Famous painting and a horse ranch plant and stuff like that I didn't necessarily intend to use. At the beginning I was trying to just stick to Get Together because I wanted you to be able to play in this. And honestly, I think you still can. I think you would mainly just need Get Together and Growing Together, and a lot of the other things could be changed out for other stuff. But I actually think I mentioned this in the tour, but I had been building this for quite a while, trying to just stick to a couple of packs, and it was not working for me. And so it was kind of interesting trying to balance having a build that looks good for me to share with you guys and having one that the most people could play in. So I hope it turns out okay and that a lot of people are still able to play here. And in the future, I'm definitely going to be trying to do more builds that use minimal packs. I might try and even do a challenge only using Horse Ranch in the base game or something like that. And especially starter homes, because I think that would be really nice. So when you're dropping into a new world for the first time, maybe if you just got a certain pack, then you will have a starter house that you can be thrown into, especially for the older packs. A lot of the starter homes are not the best. And so even when you jump right into them, you do need to do a little bit of tweaking to them, like fixing the lighting and stuff, especially. And they're also quite empty. And I think now with some of the objects that we have that are a bit cheaper and a bit nicer, we can definitely make some pretty great starter homes with only using one pack. So I'm definitely going to start doing that. And that might actually be one of the next couple of videos that comes out. So let's see. I really like this pack. I really like Get Together. I enjoy the wallpapers and the style of the town and everything. I love how in this section of the world there's this plaza with all of these matching buildings. It definitely gives off like a historic feel to it, and I didn't want to get rid of that, so that's why I wanted to keep the building pretty much the same in terms of the exterior. I just wanted it to seem like, you know, maybe someone had come in and changed it into something new, repurposed it, rather than a complete tear down and rebuild of the whole thing. That's also why I decided to include a plaque out front of the building that I was thinking would be a historical plaque. I know there's definitely a lot of places in big cities that I've been to where they'll have plaques outside of certain buildings showing what they used to be and how they've changed over time. And so I think that's a really great detail. And you can see me here placing that little shelf. I've been to a board game cafe, I think maybe only once, but I know that at the one I went to, they had shelves and shelves of board games that you could just go and pick out to play with your friends. And so I definitely wanted to include that. The only thing is that I couldn't include a wall of them like I wanted to, because there's only those two items from Growing Together, the puzzle stack and the board game stack, and there's only a couple swatches of them. So if I had gone in and put like 25 of those, it would get pretty repetitive. So I decided that one shelf would be good because there are still quite a bit of games on there. And also when you're actually playing, there's only a couple options anyway. So I didn't think it was too much of an issue. But yeah, we have that shelf. And then out here, I decided to keep some of the original details. Like I kept the ivy and the flower boxes. I also kept the Café signs. I just changed the swatch to a darker green. And a lot of the windows I kept the same as well. I don't think I really messed with them too much, and I probably just added a couple more around the building. So now you can see we have our upstairs. I built this in two different sessions, I guess you could say. And so I think that was helpful because when I came back to it, I had fresh eyes and I could kind of, you know, see what could be changed and what didn't need to stay the same. So initially I had the Don't Wake the Llama tables up here, but then I changed them to have the party games that came with, I don't know if it's Growing Together. I think it might be Love Struck, actually, that has that party game one. And I decided to split it off because there is like a woohoo type game. So I figured it would be better to keep it away from where the kids would be. Maybe this is like for the adults or something. But I end up putting that up there, and the Don't Wake the Llama games go downstairs in front of where the bathrooms are. You could also see that red door a second ago. That's where the avant-garde space is going to end up being. And I really like the way that turned out. I definitely wanted to keep it because it was in the original. I just didn't really like the placement of where they put it originally and how they did it. So I do end up keeping that. You can see me messing with the roof again and trying to resize this smaller section here because I wanted it to be big enough to do something with it, but I think I end up making it smaller again. I'm pretty sure. Maybe. But yeah, I ended up keeping the bathrooms the same size. I just wanted more of like an actual space to use for the Don't Wake the Llama tables and stuff. So I also ended up changing those windows. Those windows are from Get Together and they came with the original build. I liked them, but I kind of wanted to go with a different window once we started getting the color scheme to come together in the building. I just thought that another color and style of window would be better, so I do end up changing those, but they are still floor to ceiling. Another reason why I had to change them was because originally the walls on both floors were medium wall height, and I wanted them to be short wall height because I think it made this space look less empty. So that's another reason why I had to pick shorter windows because they were like clipping through the floor on the second floor. So yeah, and then I end up adding some more outdoor tables. It kind of becomes pretty black and orange outside, and I thought that was pretty nice because we do have that orange and black inside as kind of accent colors. And so now you can see I'm starting to place the Don't Like the Llama tables downstairs. I decided to have 3 regular ones and 3 kids ones because I think it would be fun to have your child Sims be able to come with you. So we did that, and I ended up making those orange as well. So I kind of just tried to take all of the colors that I liked and make sure that they were found all throughout the building to keep everything looking nice. I don't know how realistic that is, like if everything would match completely all throughout some place like this, but I think it tends to look nicer and it's easier to have ideas for what you want to do when you don't have something super complex for the colors. I thought about using that room above the space where the bathrooms and the Don't Like the Llama tables are, so you can see me trying to mess with the roof there to be able to use it, but I decided not to because I didn't really know what else we would put there, and I did think that the build was already big enough as it was to fit everything that we would need. So now you can see me working on the little staff area. I just put some storage. It basically looks almost like a second kitchen in there, and I thought that would be helpful to keep all of their ingredients, and I put a fridge in there so that could be like where they would keep their milk and cream and or anything that would need to stay cold. So they've got that, and that's also how they would get into the actual cafe counter because there's no way to get in from the main area. So I like to include spaces like that. I have done some similar stuff with the vet clinic that I built and the motel. I just think it makes things more realistic because maybe sometimes you would have an entrance from the outside. Some places do have that where you can get to the counter from the main area, but a lot of times there's like a staff door. So I wanted to do that. And now you can see me trying to pick what color of wood I want to use. I thought about making it that dark color for a while that you see on the back counters there, but then I decided to go with more of a brown wood because I wanted it to match closely with the growing together chairs I used. And that's kind of where the brown came from in the color scheme. And then that orangey metal, I guess brass, that would probably be most similar to brass. That's what I end up using for a lot of things like the sink and the pendant lamps, and basically any metal accent would be that color. And when I was trying to pick what accent wall I wanted to use, it was kind of complicated because I didn't want to use those wooden paneling things from Get Together that were there before, but I also didn't know what I wanted to use instead. I ended up going with that green right there, and after I had done most of this build, I was looking at it and I was thinking to myself that it looks a lot like Starbucks, and that wasn't my intention. I wasn't going for a Starbucks. In fact, it wouldn't be a board game cafe if it was a Starbucks, so I guess just maybe it made me think of cafe because subconsciously I was thinking of Starbucks, but I don't really know. I do think it looks nice though, and we did have a door over there, but I removed it because I wanted to have less entrances. I feel like we didn't need that many. 2 is already good so that you can access the building from both sides, but I don't think we needed any more than that. I think it was fine. And I have a bunch of tables out there. I end up making it a little bit less because I didn't want it to be too crowded. That's one of the things I struggle with sometimes is like exterior spaces. Unless it's like a backyard. I feel like a backyard I'm pretty confident with what to put and stuff like that. But with the exterior of restaurants and stuff, sometimes I'm not sure like how much seating I should put and how I should place things. But after a lot of trial and error, I figured it out. So I'm glad. And I also didn't really like the tables that were there at first. Those ones are from Get Together too. And I end up using those same tables though, just in a different color. So the actual table itself is kind of darker, and the umbrella honestly looks pretty much the same, just black instead of gray. But I just needed it to be something different because I wanted the outside to match the inside a little bit more. And let's see what else. Oh, so I end up adding that I don't know what you call that, honestly, that pattern with the wood framing to this section, because I wanted it to be a little bit more unique. I didn't necessarily need it to match, and I like the idea of it looking like they might have been two different buildings before that were just side by side, like two different shop spaces. And I think it made things look a little bit more unique, and also that flower box helped for sure. I think it's actually a balcony item, that's what it's called, but obviously you can't use it like one. And then I paired that green accent wall with a brown paneling. I think that's from the Book Nook kit. I used a lot of the Book Nook kit in this build too. So I apologize for that, but I think the Book Nook kit is really great for like neutral stuff. The bookshelves kind of match everything because of the swatches, and they're pretty simple. The texture on them is not too crazy or anything, and so they were easy to use. That wood floor that I end up going with is Horse Ranch, and the reason why I went with that one is because I couldn't find one that I liked that would match both the green and the brown that we already had without looking weird. So I ended up going with the Horse Ranch just because it has a little bit more color to it, but it still has that shade of brown that matches the paneling that we have on the wall. So now I'm starting to create the space on the second floor where the Woohoo games are. And so we have some tables, but we also have a couch space. And I think it came together pretty nice, honestly. I know I keep saying that, but I am pretty proud of this build. I spent quite a while on it, and so there were times where I wasn't sure, like, is this going to be successful? Is it going to come out nicely? And it's not my favorite thing I've ever built, but I think it's pretty decent. I wanted to include a TV as well, so maybe you could have like music playing. I guess that would be more of a thing that would be in real life. You might have like the TV playing or something, playing music, but you can watch movies with your Sims. I just wanted this lot to have as many activities as possible. I wasn't thinking of it only being board games, like from the board game table. I also thought things like Don't Wake the Llama would be fitting because that's pretty much Jenga, and I would kind of consider Jenga to be a board game. So, and then of course the Woohoo games, that would also be considered, I guess, a board game or party game, but it still kind of fits within the same realm. And we do have computers here as well, so I don't think a TV was that far off in terms of things that could fit. And if you come here with your Sims, you could have a lot of different options for things to do. I do really like this because I would love to bring my Sims here for a date, because it's really great to have the Sims come to lots for dates where they can do a lot of different things. Because if you have them go to like a restaurant with like dine out or something, sometimes it's really boring. Like they kind of just sit there and it takes forever when the pack is not working properly for like the food to come out and your Sims keep getting up. So I just really wanted to make a lot of like multi-purpose lots specifically for dates. So I think this is like the first one in probably a series of builds I'll do that are kind of multi-purpose. One that I really want to build again, because I've built one before a long time ago, is a skating rink, whether it be ice skating or roller skating. I built one years ago in Del Sol Valley, and that's one of my favorite builds I've ever made. I never made a YouTube video about it or anything, but it's actually on my gallery if you're interested in joining or downloading it. I forget what the name of it is. I think it's like Rico's Roller Rink or something like that on my gallery, which is ScarletHexYT. And so that has arcade games, I think, and also the roller skating rink. It's indoor and outdoor. And I really want to try to build something like that again, because I think it would be super fun to have the arcade games and skating and stuff, especially for like teens if they're going on a little date or something. And I would definitely love to get the bowling alley pack soon, because I think those three things in one building would be perfect. Like that's totally something that you would see in real life. So that's what I'm hoping to do soon. It's a stuff pack, so it shouldn't be too bad now, especially if you use something like CD keys, because CD keys always has Sims packs for less, and that's what I discovered, and that's how I've been able to get some of the packs I've gotten recently, because they're so much cheaper and you don't have to wait for EA's sales, and they're also usually less expensive on CD keys than they are when they are on sale on the EA app and stuff. So that's what my plan is, to buy bowling stuff. Bowling night. I don't know what's going on with me, but I keep forgetting the names of Sims packs. There's a lot of them now, though, to be fair. Like, The Sims has been out for 10 years. The Sims 4 has been out for over 10 years, I think, now. And so there's been a lot of packs over the years, so that is why I'm forgetting them. My bad. But now we're working on the avant-garde space. So I tried to make the theme blue and red because that's what their little banner has on it. And I just wanted everything to be cohesive at this point. So I like it. I put 3 computers for them to use. I put a little table there for them to do their homework at. And then they also have a sitting area where they can hang out with each other. I don't know if the Sims can do their homework just sitting. I don't know if they need a table. I don't know. I haven't played with like a child sim in a while. I don't know. Maybe. I think the avant-gardes are teens, though. I also haven't used clubs in a while. Like, sometimes my Sims will get invited to join, like, a certain club, and I'll just ignore it. Because, I don't know, I don't want the relationships between the Sims to be affected because I'm, like, too busy gardening or too busy painting to come to one of their meetings. So, I don't know, maybe I should get back into that. I also think clubs are a great way for your Sims to make friends and keep friends. So, that kind of is a nice unexpected perk of them that I don't know if people always think about. But yeah, you can make a club and you can set certain activities for the Sims to like paint together or socialize or like be friendly, be flirty, like all of these different things that you can assign in the club menu, and that can help you in different ways. It can help you I think it can even help you get chores done if you invite the club mates over to your house. I'm pretty sure if you have like cleaning as an activity, they'll come and clean your house for you. So it has a lot of unexpected features to it, which is nice. I should definitely start using that again. Okay, so now I'm adding the windows that I end up using. I use these base game ones, so they are still base game, luckily, and the door I chose is base game as well. I made it in kind of like an orange wood tone so that it would match everything else. And I'm actually glad that I ended up okay, I guess it's more of like a beige. But anyway, yeah, I'm kind of glad that I ended up using a lot of base game and get together in this pack so that even like if you download this, you can still get like the basic shell of it and it'll look how it's supposed to. It's just that you might have to make some tweaks depending on which packs you have and don't have. The things like the Don't Wake the Llama table, those ones you should have with Get Together. And yeah, but then obviously things like the board game tables and the party games and whatever, I think those are from Growing Together and Love Struck, so you will need those packs. But you could put more Don't Wake the Llama tables. You can make it a regular cafe if you wanted to. There's a lot of opportunity to make changes to the build to make it kind of how you want it to be. But I really love the way it turned out overall, and I hope you guys really enjoy playing with it too. I think I'm going to start putting the builds that I've made into my own Sims worlds so that I can try using them and see how they turn out. And I think that will give me a lot of good feedback for when I'm making builds in the future. So I know like that when I'm at a community lot, I always want this, for example, and I don't ever include it. And that way I can factor those things into future builds. But I think I'm going to start doing that more. I'm just adding my last bits of decor to the counter area. So we have a bunch of little cafe decorations. Like there's the tea, there's the spices. That's from Cool Kitchen. Fantastic. Yeah, like I said, I have used a lot of packs. A lot of kits too. But I actually don't have that many kits. I think I only have like 4, and one of them is free. And we have some other stuff in this little staff area, so anything that I thought that might be realistic, I put in there, but I don't know if all of that stuff is really the most fitting. Like, would they have a cookie jar? I don't know. But maybe that's where they keep the extra ones they just made. I have no idea. And I also added light switches again to this build because it adds to the realism, and I vowed to start doing that in one of my last videos, so yeah, I'm trying to do that more and more often. And let's see, what else am I up to? Oh yeah, so now I'm decorating this space, trying to find out the last bits of clutter to put around, because I was pretty much done with the build. I was just putting off that room at the top that's out front of the avant-garde space. So I'm just putting some wall decor around and trying to find the most fitting objects. It can be hard to decorate a space like this, especially when you're trying to find things that match like a cafe. You can look at the cafe item category in build mode, but obviously the amount of things are limited in that, and you kind of have to use your imagination to come up with what other things you think could fit in there. So I end up kind of repeating a couple items, but I don't think it's too bad because they're not like next to each other or anything. This upstairs space uses pretty much the same colors as the downstairs, but I also threw in some gray, like with the art and that plant in the corner and stuff like that. And I also used a lot of curtains up here. I wanted this space to feel more cozy and almost kind of like a living room, like a fancier or at least clean living room area. I guess like a lounge. And just make it pretty inviting and have Sims chill and relax. And I think I accomplished that. It's a pretty zen color scheme. Speaking of zen, I don't know if I'll ever build a spa. That actually sounds like a good idea. I don't think I've ever tried to build a spa, especially since we got the pack refresh for spa day. But I definitely should go in and try to do that because especially with all of the new packs that have come out, there are probably a lot more items that could be used in that kind of space. And I think it would be cool to try and build some kind of like modern seeming spa. But now I'm just adding in some speakers. I don't like the fact that the speakers don't have that many color options. Maybe the other ones from other packs, like I know there's one from Snowy Escape, but I wanted to use the base game ones because I didn't want to throw in another pack if I didn't need to. And they only really come in that like light wood color. But I didn't think it was too bad because it matches like the accent on the like the door color and the window colors and stuff. It kind of matches, but it just looks a little bit weird against the darker brown paneling that I used. Over there where I have those island counters, that was originally going to be like the section of a coffee shop where they have the coffee stirs and maybe the milk and stuff like that, but I didn't really have anything to put on that space, and I didn't think it was like completely necessary either, so I thought maybe adding some more seating would be better. So I put a couple of bar stools there, and that's just a space where your Sims can come if maybe they just want coffee or they just want a snack and they're not actually looking to come with a group of Sims. So I included that, and now you can see me placing that plaque there. I end up moving it over so I can put a trash can there, but it does stay there in that area. And we also have a sign there that has all of our specials off to the left there, and that coffee logo that I'm now adding to the other side of the building. I thought that looked a little weird, so I didn't want to use it like super sized up or anything, so I left it pretty small, but I do think that would make sense as the coffee shop's logo, considering the fact that the color scheme inside has a lot of orange, and I'm also now making the outside color scheme be black and orange, so it kind of all came together nicely, especially because you can't change the color of that decal, so I'm sure maybe that subconsciously factored into my choice to make the accent color orange, but I also added that couch there and another specials board where you could see our menu and another trash can, and that is pretty much all I did. I think I'm pretty much done. I did add some flower boxes there with some hedges, so that's what I'm doing there. I tried to use the Lily of the Valley stuff right there, those low plants that I'm placing, but it was clipping through the inside of the house, or the inside of the build, sorry. And so when I started placing those hedges and I looked inside, I realized that it was the Lily of the Valley clipping and not the hedges. So I actually just decided to get rid of them because they were covered up anyway. And so I did remove them from there, but they are in the same spots that they were in the other like little corner flower boxes. So yeah, that's pretty much the landscaping done. I didn't really do too much with the outside. I wanted to keep it pretty simple, and the last thing we're doing here is just the little computer area. I also put some chairs for the Sims to read, so you'll see me placing those in a second, and I thought it was a nice little cozy space, and it also added another function to the build too, actually. You can come sit there and read, and you can also sit there and go on the computer, and you don't need to be a member of the Avant-Garde Club to have access to them. So all in all, we've got about 5 different things you can do on this lot, I'm pretty sure. You can play board games, you can play another kind of board games, you can go on the computer, you can read, you can socialize, and I guess you can also watch TV, so that's another thing. Just very multi-purpose. That was the goal, and I think I got there. So yeah, but that is pretty much the entire build, and I'm gonna be giving you guys a tour now, so I will see you guys in the tour. Okay guys, so just in case you needed a reminder, this is what the cafe looked like before. South Square Coffee. It's surrounded by this nice plaza of buildings that kind of match it, and I really like the color scheme, so I do end up keeping that, but I just wanted to give it a refresh and repurpose it into a board game cafe. So this is what the inside looked like. It was just 1 floor, and we had like this kind of computer room for the avant-garde sims, some bathrooms, and obviously the cafe part. You can also see weirdly that the ceiling, there's like almost like there's no ceiling based on the lighting. Like even though there's none here, it still shouldn't be lit like this. You can see this one is lit properly, but I'm not sure why that happened, but it was really frustrating. I eventually did get it figured out though. Okay, so let's jump into the completed version. Okay, so here is my completed version of the cafe. You can see some stuff changed on the outside. I added this little section here. I don't know why the window's doing that. Anyway, so now we have more seating out here. You can see we kind of got a black and orange color scheme going with the tables and stuff. Out here I put a little cafe sign to show maybe some of the specials or something, and I put that little plaque there as like to show that it's a historical building. I thought that would be really cool, especially because Windenburg seems like such an old city, and I can imagine that this building may have had other purposes in the past, so I thought that was nice. I also included this little cafe logo, and I kind of put that around the building, you'll see, and a trash can, of course. I also used these flower boxes from Get Together. There were some on the original building, and I just decided to kind of use it as like a barrier on either side of this front section. And we have these cafe signs too on each side. Over here we have a couple little tables, just some orange and green ones. And on this side, pretty much the same thing, another table and a cafe special sign. I did put another one up here where that would maybe have our menu so you could see before going in, or maybe it has the prices for the board games and stuff. And also this little couch. So if we go inside, we have this front area where you come in. We have some mugs here that you can use. I thought it would be nice to be kind of like sustainable, and have people reuse mugs or something like that. I'm not sure if you would do that in real life, but maybe that could be a thing in The Sims because there's no concern about hygiene. We also have this plaque here that would basically say to return your mugs after you've used them so they can be washed and reused again. I have a couple of these trash cans here. I thought these looked the most similar to what you would actually find in a cafe. These ones are from Snowy Escape. And I did put light switches on this building too, and some exit signs. Over here we have the actual cafe counter area. I decided to include this section over here where you can come sit and have your coffee or your snack or whatever. And then here I did add a cash register and some more treats on display. We have some cafe decor back here. There weren't really too many things to work with, so some of the things are a little bit random, but I think it ended up coming together nicely. We have 2 menus here, and then this nice little coffee decoration. We have another coffee maker here. And this back section here is for the staff to come and have all of like their ingredients and stuff. Over here is the main seating. So these are actually the game tables from Growing Together. I wanted to keep this build with a lot of get together, but unfortunately I ended up using a lot of packs in this. It wasn't my intention. I just think at the point where I had been working on this for like 3 hours, I decided that I would rather it kind of come together nicely and be cohesive rather than only using Get Together, because there are only so many options and I wasn't really liking it. So there is Growing Together. Of course that kind of makes sense for the board game cafe theme because board games came with Growing Together. But anyway, so yeah, we have a bunch of these tables here, and then I decided that it would be cool to put some actual board games and puzzle boxes over here on this shelf, and this is kind of where your Sims would come and pick one out and grab one and put it back. And then just some decor. I also put speakers around the first level of the building. And then through here, we have another section of the board game cafe that has the Don't Wake the Llama tables. So there are the adult ones, or I guess regular ones, and then we have some kids ones here as well. I wanted kids to be able to come here too. So that's why I decided to include it. I thought it would be really fun, maybe for your Sims kids to come and have like a little play date or something. I thought that would be nice. And I just put some decor on the wall. Sorry, you can hear my cats. You've been able to hear them in pretty much every video I've done because they are noisy, but I hope you guys don't mind too much. And we have another door that goes into our staff area over there. And then here we have our 2 bathrooms. So they're pretty much exactly the same, just flipped. And they kind of have like a brown, green, and black color scheme to them. I also made sure to include the paper towel and a garbage can as well. And then up these stairs, we actually have a second floor. This is where I wanted to put some more adult activities. So we have the party games here. There is a woohoo one, so I kind of wanted to keep it separate from where the kids would be. But this is a nice little lounge space where you can specifically come up here to play the party games with your Sims. And so we got a fireplace, a nice seating area, and some tables depending on what you would prefer. Through here, we have this little computer area. The old cafe had them for the avant-garde Sims, but I decided that I would give some to regular people that come too, just because I think it would be a nice place for your Sims to have access to a computer. It's always nice to include those in builds because you don't always have the money for one in your Sims house, or maybe you don't even have the space. So I like to include them in community lots just to make sure that if you do decide to play here, you can have access to a computer and stuff like that. And then through here, we have the door to the avant-garde space. So I did decide to keep it. And so through here, they have their own little room. They have a bunch of bookshelves. They have some decor for their club. They have a little seating area and more seating here for doing their homework and stuff. And then over here, I gave them their own little computer section. So that is the entire build. Oh, I actually forgot. There's a bathroom here. Okay, that's the entire build. I hope you guys enjoy using this. I definitely knew that I wanted to do a board game cafe next, and it did take me a while, but I am glad I got it all figured out, and I hope you find a lot of use for it with your Sims. You should be able to use one of the tables no matter what, because there are actually 86 seats in this build. So it is a lot, and I hope you guys enjoy using it. So thank you for watching.